Has the Mikel Arteta experiment started to fizzle out? Are we done with this man?
Look, the guy said he had a 5-year plan. We're in year 5.
Yeah.
So what's the end of the plan there, dog?
It's one of those like, what are we? Arsenal fans are asking Arteta, like, hey, is this going anywhere?
Right. Like, are you gonna move? Start a new job? Do you want to get married? I think at the end of the day, I think Arsenal fans have been really patient with the Arteta experiment. It hasn't gone smoothly. Think back to his first signings. Your David Luiz, your Willian, your Pablo Mari's, not great signings, right? And I think the big issue has been the signings, right? I think he's clearly made a cohesive unit. I think he's made a really strong team, strong enough to finish second, and that's not good enough, right? Because if you would have finished second, but let's say you've won the FA Cup 2 or 3 times, or you've won the Carabao Cup a couple of times, or maybe you had a strong showing in Champions League and you've gotten to a semifinal or something, then I think Arsenal fans can sit back and say we're on the cusp, right? But it's like to get to the cusp of the Premier League and not really have anything to show for it after 4 or 5 years, you start to wonder. I mean, he was hired in December of 2019. That's a long time ago. That's pre-COVID,
Sure.
And I know he won an FA Cup right in the end of that season, right? So the second half of that 2020 season. But since then, there's been no other trophies. So I can understand the frustration with Arsenal fans to sit here and say something needs to be won. And part of me believes something needs to be won this season to quell that, because that seed is only going to get hotter and hotter. So has it fizzled? No, but it's sputtered. Is that fair?
Sure. I think it's a synonym for what for the same exact thing.
I don't think it's a synonym because I would have said it. It's not fizzle out. It's sputtering though. There's a little bit of a hezzy. Sure. You're starting to wonder, is there a problem with the transmission?
It also doesn't look great when new Premier League managers arrive and thrive, right? So like Arne Slot, everyone thought, Liverpool are going to be in this transitional year and how they're going to figure it out. And Jurgen Klopp was such a historic and important manager. And no one's even mentioning Jurgen Klopp's name because of what Arne Slot is doing. He saw the roster he had. And is the Liverpool roster...
yeah, but Liverpool were in a very different position than Arsenal. Think about what Mikel Arteta is doing, essentially what Jurgen Klopp had to do, which is sort of say, I need to refresh the entire building. From the ground up, Sure. And maybe Brendan Rodgers did some of that, but the vibes were a little bit off, and at least they had that bit of a committee. They needed to bring someone in that can work within the committee. So even then, it's different. What Mikel Arteta had to do was essentially get rid of everyone who wasn't really about this club, from agents having the ears of the squad, of the people who built the squad, I should say, people who worked in the front office who didn't really care about the club, players who were just playing for the check and not the badge, long contracts that needed to be worked out, players who definitely didn't want to give their all. There was so much that he had to fix to get to this point. I think Mikel Arteta can walk away. If let's say he walks away today, let's say he's like, I can't do this job anymore. To me, he walks away a hero, because I think as an Arsenal fan, he saved the club from absolute ruin. We were heading in the wrong direction. And that's why I think Unai Emery didn't really get a fair shake, because he didn't really get a chance to manage this Arsenal. He was managing a club that was in transition, not really sure, a bit of a power struggle, and so many people sort of trying to take control of that power. So many people did not care about the club at all. I mean, it was really headed in a bad direction. Dead weight, or is the phrase used a lot. That was front office, everybody. So I think Mikel Arteta did a lot. But part of being, if you want to be that omnipotent manager, man, you want to be the one guy that makes every decision, like Arsene Wenger was. Arsene Wenger picked the font in the menu. He's like, bro, we don't need all of it. You know what I mean? Let the designers do that part.
He's leading the club, bro, in every aspect, micromanaging.
Yeah, but we don't need that anymore. Classy guy. So, like, Mikel Arteta was hired as a head coach. He won a trophy as a head coach. As soon as he became a manager, hasn't won a trophy. And I think that is an inclination as to what Arsenal needs. Arsenal needs for Mikel Arteta to go back being a head coach. You focus on the players on the pitch and the players in your squad. Let someone else pick them. Obviously, by committee, you're involved in that decision as well, but it is not solely your decision. Let someone else pick, be the sporting director. Let someone else pick the squad. Let someone else do all those other things, and you focus on the big. Look at Ruben Amorim. Look at Arne Slot. You mentioned he's not a manager. That's a head coach.
Sure. I mean, so it could be, I guess, more of an institutional thing with Arsenal as to why they haven't. They've basically underwhelmed under Arteta's, management. So I did see a thing, and I don't have it in front of me, but I just remembered it now. But there was a list that somebody put together of how many minutes Arteta has basically how many minutes Arsenal players have played this season, and because people were concerned, especially after Bukayo Saka got injured, and Bukayo Saka has played the most minutes for Arsenal.
Yeah, dude, you can't take him off the pitch. There's no one to replace him.
And then that's when I say that that's on Arteta. Like you basically saying that he's gonna be, if he leaves today, he's gonna be seen as a hero and save the club. I don't think that's really the case. I think the decisions he did a good job of clearing out, like you said, the dead weight.
Yeah, but they were in an institutional crisis. It wasn't visible, but after you see everything that had to happen, they were in an institutional crisis. I mean, you're an Everton fan. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes the fish things from the head, and it's like it takes so long for that entire thing to get cleared out and bring in people who care about the club. Think about how long of a struggle that's going to be for Everton. Arsenal was able to do it with one guy over the course of 3 to 4 years, but it's like you didn't get brought in just to do that. You got brought in to win a trophy.
So that's why I'll give the credit is he did clear out that dead weight and the things that were holding the club back, but he has not brought in people and players that have brought the club to that next next level. And
in fact, the signings kind of stink, dude.
You know, you got the Rices. There's been a couple really.
You're never
going to
go wrong with get some arroz.
But so let us know what you think. If maybe Arsenal should go in a different direction, because I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if they did. But it's a
Mikel Arteta at Everton.
I mean, former Evertonian. I mean, I wouldn't hate it.
We'll see.
It's a it's just Arsenal are meh. That's it, and they can't be meh. That's basically
they're in second place. They're not exactly.
That's basically it. All right. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should Arteta stay or should he go? We are the Cooligans, so shout out to everybody watching on OneFootball. If you want to subscribe to OneFootball, but also you can go to our channel as well and subscribe there for a bunch of fun stuff too. So the link is in the description and
is it over
all
here?
that stuff. Who knows where it is? You've used YouTube
find
before.
it, you click it.
Find it, go for it. All right, we'll see you there. Peace.